right, so I'm Sam Spence, Band Pillars Martial Arts, Bloomington, Illinois. We're going to kind of cover a basic drill that can end up, elaborating into much more. But it's a great drill to either warm up or cool down with. It's also a great drill to just kind of play with it and exaggerate your motions, really get the body mechanics really going through your entire body here. And sort of feel the mechanics that you should be using when you actually go to throw your punches or swing your sticks or your elbows, etc., etc., etc. So the base structure from this I got from Phil Norman out of the UK, thanks to our MKG Zoom classes. So I'm taking that and I'm gonna add to it over the course of a couple videos, but it's just basically using a clock, right? So we're gonna go clockwise around and counterclockwise around a clock face, right? I'm gonna have you start with is starting your grip just like this on your stick and sort of a mid grip. That way you can hit with your puño slash and a puño slash the entire time, okay? So for this set here, what I'm going to be doing is I'm gonna pick a foot and drive it and keep it forward. So right now I'm in a left lead and I'm gonna go from 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock, from 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock, from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock, from 4 o'clock to 10 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 11 o'clock, we'll do 6 o'clock, and our 12 o'clock. So we've ran all the way through our clock on the clockwise motion. Again, I'm slashing with the puño 1 o'clock, slashing with the puño 7 o'clock, 2 o'clock slash, 8 o'clock slash, 3 o'clock slash, 9 o'clock slash, 4 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 12 o'clock. Now as I'm doing this, you'll notice my body is twisting back and forth. I'm not just doing this, right? This could be entirely an arm drill, sure, but you should really focus on really torquing your body through these motions and raising your feet up onto their toes and pushing off of your toes as you do so in order to generate the power. By driving that power through there, what you're actually going to be accomplishing is you're teaching yourself how to generate torque and how to generate that power you need to throw your punches along different angles, to throw your elbows along the different angles, as well as how to throw your knees and your kicks on the different angles. So this mechanic, if you spend the time focusing on it, is very, very good for you. Now, every one of these has been sort of clockwise, right? So that's rear hand first, then lead hand second. So then just reverse it and go counterclockwise. So now I'll go 11 o'clock up to 5 o'clock. I'll do 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock, 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 1 o'clock. We'll do a 6 o'clock here and a 12 o'clock there. So all we're doing is reversing it. So it was rear to lead, now it is a lead to a rear. So what would have been something like maybe our 2 o'clock into a 9 o'clock or a 2 o'clock into a 10 o'clock, now it's going to be a 10 o'clock into a 2 o'clock. So that's how that would end up working as you start to incorporate lead, then rear, rear, then lead. Now, I've got this sweet water bag. I'm gonna go ahead and do it a couple times on in a couple different manners, right? So first off, we're gonna start just a regular, this is a 28-inch Kali stick. You can do this with anything, obviously, but I'm starting with that ends grip, or that mid grip, excuse me. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rotate 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock, 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock, 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 12 o'clock. Then I'll go counterclockwise. 11 to 5, 10 to 4, 9 to 3, 8 to 2, 7 to 1, 6 to 12. So all of that is done in this grip here. You can switch it to a single grip. So now we're working our 1 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Then you do the same thing going backwards. Now you can either do that starting with the backhand, which would be 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock, 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock, 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock, 7 o'clock to 1 o'clock, 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock. So now you've done it with a forehand start in your right hand and a backhand start in your right hand. Or you could just switch it to this left side and then do counterclockwise, but it would be the forehand starts for the left hand. So that way you're able to train both hands. Now, with this, you can also do this in a dos manos grip, okay? With your dos manos grip, or two-handed grip, we're gonna go 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock, 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock, 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock, 4 o'clock to 10 o'clock, 5 o'clock to 11 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and then back and down. 11 to 5, 10 to 4, 9 to 3, 8 to 2, 7 to 1, and 6 and 12. You get the idea, I hope. If you don't, comment. But the idea behind this is what you have done now with just this basic structure. You can continue to repeat with a bunch of different tools, right? Then when you are done with that, now you just kind of play with the angles. So I'm going to go back to my mid grip here, and I might be able to go, let's say 1 o'clock, 9 o'clock, maybe a 5 o'clock and a 12 o'clock, a 4 o'clock and a 7 o'clock, a 2 o'clock and an 11 o'clock. Right now I'm sticking with all slashes, but I'm just changing the angles of them. You can double them up on one side. I might be able to go 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock, or 11 o'clock and 6 o'clock. But you're learning how to change direction along that same arm or that same axis with this in your hand. That way you can do it without this in your hand, or you can go from here to here, which would have been a 5 o'clock into a 1 o'clock. Or I might go 3 o'clock into 12 o'clock, or 8 o'clock into 3 o'clock. Just play with it. Put a big clock in front of you and sit there and just look at the numbers and swing, right? It's super easy, super basic drill, but it's one that will get you moving and get your body warmed up, cooled down, or if you're really struggling with how to actually to torque into certain angles of power. I've noticed a lot of times people have issues with this, I guess the 8 o'clock line actually generating power. This is a great way to practice that. Now you're getting that shovel hook with the lead hand there, or you're getting that saber punch with the rear hand, or you're getting an actual uppercut shot with the stick. So there's a bunch of different options there, and just play with it. Thank you.